Third-party lenses are generally seen as a cheaper, lesser quality version of the original manufacturer, or at least that's how I used to see them. Viltrox has made several lenses, however I have never used any of their lenses, and because of that, I can experience this lens with a fresh set of eyes and I can focus on how does it feel to use this lens. To be transparent, Viltrox did provide this lens, but they're not sponsoring this video, they're not paying me for a review. I value my freedom more than anything else. I'm not here to do sharpness comparisons or pit it against previous Viltrox lenses, but I'll say this. If you handed me an unbranded or unfinished prototype of this lens and you told me it was a brand new Fujifilm original prime in the works, I would have believed you. And I think that says something about how good it feels to use this lens. The Viltrox 13mm is a 19.5mm equivalent focal length, a wide prime with a really fast f1.4 aperture. It's an all-metal build with a metal lens hood as well, which surprised me to be honest. That is something that not even the affordable Fujifilm primes include. It's larger and heavier compared to some of the Fuji primes, but it doesn't feel overly large or heavy, and that's important, especially compared to some of the zoom lenses out there. It's well-rounded and it's well-balanced as well. This matters if you wear your camera as an accessory like I do, or you don't like to carry a lot of equipment and you have a small minimalist bag. Viltrox knows what makes Fuji cameras and lenses enjoyable to use, and it's clearly their target demographic because although it comes in multiple lens mount options, it was clearly made to replicate the look and the style of Fujifilm lenses. The aperture ring feels comparable to the Fujicron primes, and I appreciate that. I only wish there was a little bit more friction to avoid accidentally changing your settings, but overall, it's good. Last but not least, there is a USB-C port located at the bottom of the lens, which offers the ability to update the firmware and potentially make it better. Not a guarantee, just the potential to get better over time, and for me, that is a plus. To be honest, I struggle with getting used to this lens, and I am not proud of the photographs that I'm showing you today, but the show must go on. It's not because of the lens itself or the performance, but because of me. Getting used to a new focal length and a new style of photography takes a lot of energy and a lot of time as well. The autofocus performance is good. It's not as fast as the newer 23 and 33mm f1.4 lenses, but on par with the older primes and the Fujicrons as well. Fast prime lenses are nothing new in the third-party world. This very cheap 7 Artisans manual prime is relatively fast at f1.8. However, an f1.4 lens with reliable autofocus that is actually sharp is really something to consider. I did a basic video test with my X Pro 2 and the autofocus seemed to perform well enough. I don't have any other cameras that can do video at the moment, and I do not recommend you use the X Pro cameras for video work, but I'm actually impressed that it performed the way it did with an older camera. I did not notice any focus breathing, and the focusing distance is very close at 22 centimeters. This lens makes you question or think about the balance of character versus environment, and that can be very refreshing. Every now and then, a piece of gear can completely disrupt your perspective and make you question your decisions, in a good way. I don't think this is a focal length that I would have considered purchasing before, but I'm very glad I gave it a try. This may sound counterintuitive, but sometimes gear helps you be more humble. Sometimes you think that you know what you're doing, and then life shows you that you have a lot more to learn. This lens excels in architecture and landscape photography. It's great for people that want to test their boundaries of character versus environment, and people that shoot videos often. I think it's great for hybrid shooters that do both photo and video with the same camera, and helps you downsize in the number of lenses that you have. But the lens, it's not perfect. It's not weather sealed, and the autofocus is not as good as the latest flagship primes. However, for $429 US, it's hard to beat, and it feels like a Fujifilm lens. If you're looking for a wide and fast prime, then this is it. The Viltrox 13mm f1.4 lens.